Hi guys, I am Isa, and today we're going to learn about memory management in C. Okay, so first, I'm going to have to include stdio as always. And then I'm going to make int main, and I'm going to put the printf something. So now let me find out my project's gonna do this dog. Anyways, here we're going to learn about memory. So let's say we have a variable, so int v is equal to 5. So we can print integer. We use the size of command to find the size of v. So yeah, it's supposed to be lu unsigned long. A log is basically like a float that can handle more numbers. But yeah, 4. 4 is the size of this. 4 is the size of every integer. So let's say if we do this extremely big number, we can see this error, which shows that this is the limit of integers. That's the limit of 4 bytes. So yeah, if I wanna add integers that are bigger than that, we can use long. Long stores 8 bytes, in which its limit is much bigger. But yeah, it still has a limit. Like for example, this number can be represented by log. Integer lizard was too large to be represented in any integer type. So if you want to do something like this, we're gonna have to split it up into 2. So yeah. So this thing is stored in like 4 bytes in memory. What if we want to allocate memory ourselves? Now there are 2 commands we can use. This function, which only has one parameter, size, and this function, which has a number and so. We can use these to allocate memory. So let's say we have int o1 and int o2. So you want to allocate the memory to like them. So here I can say that o1 is equal to malloc or whatever, and put the size. The size should be 4 because that's the default for an integer, and o2 should be the same thing. Now let's run it. We're going to put these asterisks besides the thing. So yeah, for this you need to include stdlib.h. So now it's done what it needs to do. If it changes to 5, and it's still going to work. So that means the O1 limit will be bigger than the one for O2. But yeah, O1 and O2 are locations in the memory. So, well, yeah, that's that. But yeah, so we can also use the call OC function, which says, so we only have one variable here, so we're just gonna use the one thing. Use the two thing. But yeah, we don't have one, so there was a one. So let's say you want to reallocate memory, like the memory you put is not enough. So let's use the same example with O1 and O2. So O2, we're going to do the realloc function, which reallocates memory and stuff. So you have to write the size, and then where I like put it. So 5 O2. Now let's run it. Okay, this will be O1. So yeah, you can see this. We're gonna change the size here. So now, this amount of memory has been reallocated to O1. Allocate to memory. So let's say this O1 is a chunk of memory. You want to deallocate it. We can use the free function. To let that memory free or whatever. So yeah, some memory will be freed. So yeah. Anyways, in language like C, you have to make sure that you manage your memory properly, or else, well, things like crashes and the bad stuff will happen. So that's what we're going to talk about. These are called memory leaks. So, let's say int q is equal to 5. We're going to have a pointer here. Let's say int, I'll call it ptr for pointer, you know. So let's say ptr is equal to call oc, and they're going to say like maybe 100 bytes. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be mol oc, 100 bytes, 100 whole of that stuff. It doesn't go 1,000, I could even do that many. But I'll just leave it at 100, or just 10. Anyways, so if I make ptr to point at x, so I can do that with this symbol. Okay, I'm gonna make it to point at q, and the memory here, it's going to be, you know, inaccessible. It's basically wasting. If too much is wasted, then, you know, it's gonna make your computer to crash and stuff. But yeah, the good thing is to freeze the memory, so free PTR. Then all the problems will be solved. So anyway, that's the end of today's tutorial. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. So bye. Alright, so let's say you have a variable. So int o is equal to whatever. Say int o is equal to 5. So now we could print. Let's say I comma int. I mean comma o. So now let's run our project. So now print the integer one, which is 5. But could create a pointer variable. So let's write this thing here. So let's call it PTR. I'm gonna set equal to this thing. So that thing basically allows us to, you know, point to O. So now basically allows us to point to O. And it basically allows us to see like where in the memory O even is. So let's print PTR. So you're gonna have to write P over here. So it's gonna print out its location in memory. Not just like this. And print this weird number. So if I have another integer, P, let's make it to be 8. So now let's have another integer, PTR2. It's gonna be basic for P. So here, if I write PTR2, and I run this, it's gonna show PTR2's adjusting the memory, which I mean is it's different. So now let's say I change PTR. If I change the value, the memory just won't change. So let's say I change P to long, and memory just going to memory just is going to change a little bit because, well, duh, it's a different data type. So we can see this in action. That's print an I. Next I will be size of P. So yeah, it's supposed to be LU, long unsigned or whatever. So now it's gonna say 8. So P is 8. So O, an integer, has to be 4. So that's why they have to be different locations in memory. because the different sizes. Right, so the next thing is to, you know, so let's say we just have a normal pointer, and then if I repeat it, or oh yeah, I didn't mention this earlier, but a pointer its definition is a variable storing the memory address of something. So anyways, so back to my cool example. So you can see that if we use this asterisk thing, it's gonna show the value 0x9. Int O is 9. So yeah, also pointers can be formatted two ways, either this way or this way. But I mean, yeah, it can be any way you want. So yeah. Anyways, the next thing is how we can use pointers with arrays. So let's say you have pointer. Let's say O is an array. So let's just say, oh yeah, before we get to the array example, we can do pointer arithmetic. So let's say int pt O is equal to ptr plus 1. So now let's print pt O, and it's gonna show that thing. Now if we print pt r, it's gonna show, well, that, oh yeah, I have to remove this from ptr pto. It's not just this p, and now go back pto, and now we want to see both of them side by side. As you can see, they're the same things. Yeah, they're almost the same things, at least. Just a couple numbers are changed, numbers here are changed. But, I mean, yeah, they're like almost the same. So let's say PTR plus 10 or something. Then we're gonna get a bigger one, or yeah, it seems to be bigger, whatever. So yeah, anyways, back to the arrays thing. Let's say it's ARR is an array. So its AR is an array. It's gonna consist of 5, 9, 2, 4, and 10. Right, so I'm gonna run through all the elements. There's a for loop. For and r is equal to 0. R is less than 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it wasn't like 5. R plus plus. So I'm gonna put these brackets over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna print f. So I'm gonna print out where. So now let's run it. We have that semicolon here. So now let's run it. It's gonna print all the elements. We'll just add a space bar. So if I print the pointers, you know, the memory just about the elements, then it's gonna say all these. As you can see, they're basically the same thing. But you might notice something. You know that the size of an int is 4. So the size of an int is 4. Oh, this. The other bit is 80. And here, it was 84. 80 plus 4, then 88, then 92, then 96. Keeps adding 4 every time for each of the elements. Let's say it's a long. Longs have 8. So now that we run it, it's gonna say basically the same thing. But it's gonna keep adding 8 instead of adding whatever. So you'll see there's an 8 difference. Anyways, back to integers. So, if you go write a pointer, so I'm gonna write int ptr is equal to memory address of array 0, 0 elements. So I'm gonna print I print the pointer right here. So I'm gonna print ptr. It's gonna say this. So now let's just change this to asterisk ptr. It's gonna tell us what the value is 5. But let's say let's call this underscore ptr now. So now let's say so real ptr is equal to underscore ptr plus 1. What's that gonna do? Well, obviously it's gonna do nothing because okay, actually never mind. It changes to the next value, which is 9. So if we add 2, for example, it's going to say 2 because 2 is the third element. If we add 4, it's going to say A. A is 10 hexadecimal, the hexadecimal we're doing here. So if we say plus 5 though, then well, it's going to say 0 because well, there's sort of nothing there. But then if we go after 5, well yeah, also I know every array ends with this 0. You can't actually see it, but after this 10, it's actually a 0. It's always there. Anyways, if you go after 5, you're going to start seeing these weird numbers, which, I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about them in another tutorial. Speaking of the tutorial, that's the end of today's tutorial. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. So, bye.